They say that an army marches on its stomach. Well, for American servicemen, one item of food in particular was guaranteed to boost their morale. Yes, that winning combination of a Permitan dolly and a freshly baked doughnut was all it took to really raise a GI's spirits. In 1942, if you were a homesick American soldier on British soil, a service club was the place to be. Here, servicemen could let their hair down, socialise and feel at home. And the key to the success of the whole evening was the good old American doughnut.
So the idea started in the First World War. The Salvation Army decided to give the American soldiers a taste of home and boost their morale, so they decided to make them doughnuts. The idea was such a success that the American Red Cross made it central to their entertaining of the troops in the Second World War.
Venues called service clubs were set up near US Army bases, and American girls known as doughnut dollies were hired to entertain the troops and serve up their favourite snack.
They flirted with the men, they chatted to them, they provided an ear to listen to, and they earned this affectionate nickname.
The service clubs were all about good, wholesome fun, and the doughnut dollies had to abide by a strict set of guidelines on how to behave.
They always had to be happy, they had to be always well-groomed, they couldn't have a lazy no-makeup day, they had to be intelligent, they had to be good-looking. A lot of them were very well-educated and some of them had degrees. They had to be able to hold conversation and most of all be charming.
The dollies and their doughnuts were such a huge hit with the US troops that a way of reaching more army bases around Britain was needed. Old Green Line buses were transformed into Clubmobiles, a service club on wheels. Run by the dollies, they dispensed doughnuts by the truckload. In June 1944, American forces were preparing to invade northern France, and alongside the tanks and armoured cars, another vehicle was being prepared to cope with the war-torn terrain of continental Europe. Nearly 100 2.5-ton troop carriers were converted into Clubmobiles, and the doughnut dollies had to ready themselves to enter a war zone.
The hostesses, they were given instructions into how to keep the trucks running, maintenance, in case they broke down. In the layout of the Clubmobile, it was a giant doughnut machine, so everything was fresh, being served up. The doughnuts weren't your supermarket doughnut that you get nowadays. They were hand cut and thrown into a deep fat fryer. Sometimes they were a bit burnt, sometimes they were a bit undercooked. They weren't always round. You were lucky if you got a hole in the middle.
But the GIs didn't mind their doughnuts a bit rough and ready, and the Clubmobile convoy advanced right across Europe until victory was secured on May the 7th, 1945. During World War II, the Red Cross purchased enough flour to make 1.6 billion doughnuts, eventually serving them at a rate of 400 per minute. These heroic doughnut dollies could be proud that they had well and truly won the battle for the hearts, minds and stomachs of the grateful American soldiers.